Welcome to Wrestling Binge Face, where two friends binge watch seasons of TV shows and we talk about it. I'm Adam McCoy.
And I'm Amanda Kathleen. Adam and I work in TV. We watch a lot of TV. If we were vampires in a mockumentary and could only hang out at night, we would still just watch TV.
Yeah, never leave the house, just watch TV.
No, it would just literally be us watching TV on a TV.
If you see a sunrise on TV and you're a vampire, does it affect you? Depends on if it's HD or not. 4K.
4K.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Really lights you up.
You gotta watch through analog.
Okay.
That leads us into what we're binging this week. What We Do in the Shadows, Season 1, based off the movie What We Do in the Shadows. If you couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
So, Adam, do you have some vampire knowledge to drop for us?
I do.
Ooh.
We should say the TV show based on the movie, based on the short film, based on the stand-up comedy act, What We Do in the Shadows.
Such a transformation.
So, of course, this is based on the 2014 film, What We Do in the Shadows.
Correct.
Starring Jermaine Clement. And, okay, I had to look up how to pronounce the name.
Taika Waititi.
Yes. Taika Waititi. Or YTT. Like Waikiki, only with T's.
Waikiki. YTT.
Yeah, so it's the mockumentary film. It was actually shot in 2012. Took them a while to actually get released in 2014 at Sundance. Everybody loved it.
Loved it.
It was great. It cost $1.6 million to make, but it made $6.9 million. So
Dang.
almost 5 times
that's
return,
a good recoup.
which is nice. But then I was reading about it, and Jermaine Clement, from Flight of the Conchords.
Of course. If you
One
don't,
half of Flight of the Conchords.
you should definitely watch that show.
But he says this all started at a just impromptu on a stand-up night. He went up and started telling jokes as a vampire out of nowhere. And then Waikiki started heckling him as a vampire. YTT. YTT started heckling him as a vampire, saying, "Oh, my old rival." So that's what started the whole thing. Then they took $200 and made a very short film, a 20-minute, which you can still find on YouTube if you haven't seen it.
Ooh, I may have to do some
Maybe
Googling.
we'll put a link in the description of this episode. But $200, very cheesy.
Not
cheap.
bad.
Their teeth are so big in the film, you can barely understand what they're saying.
Right.
And in a couple of the scenes, they don't even have the teeth.
Oh, geez.
But it's funny. That's what makes it even better. So the act went to the short film, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you can make an actual movie out of it."
Right.
So that's what started that whole trend. And then the biggest difference in this version, even though the original characters aren't in it,
Right.
but they added the new vampire, the energy vampire.
They did.
Yes. And that's one that Clement was like, I've heard that term kicked around a lot. People who are super boring or drag you into a conversation you can't get out of. And he's like, I just thought it was funny to put an actual supernatural twist on it. And I think maybe the breakthrough character in the show was the energy vampire.
Because you're like, wait, is this real? Could this really be?
And
people that I know.
From my personal experience, I'm like, I think it is.
So you were like on board with the energy vampire.
Yeah. And then lastly, they were both fans of horror and vampire films. So some of their biggest influences: Lost Boys, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Interview with the Vampire, Blade for the TV show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight. But the biggest one, I think, Nosferatu, doesn't get enough credit in vampire. This, but that was another one. More of the film, definitely the character from the film.
Right, for sure.
For sure. But I just thought it was interesting that it all started on a whim.
On
a stand-up night. Like,
just kept getting bigger and bigger.
I'm going to be a vampire.
I know. And now it's a TV show. That's crazy. See, kids. See what you can accomplish on a drunken night out.
Yeah. Go drink, kids.
Well, Adam's done dropping knowledge for us. This is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie, you don't have to see the movie to watch a TV show.
No,
you can definitely just watch a TV show as a TV show. It's on Hulu from FX. Go binge it. If you don't got the ads thing, good for you.
Also binge it before the second season starts because it has been renewed for a second season.
Ooh.
Just threw that out there because I forgot about it. But yeah, it's already been picked up for a second season.
So make sure you binge it now so you're ready for the second season.
Yes.
Okay. Overview of What We Do in the Shadows, Season 1. What We Do in the Shadows is a mockumentary that follows 4 vampires who share a house together on Staten Island and various stories happen. Basically, it's like real world with vampires.
With very out of touch vampires.
It's like you took the vampires from like the 1800s and you stuck them in today's time and tried to watch them be
mingle among people today.
I was going to say be people, but they're not people anymore. They're vampires.
Yes.
So.
And hilarity ensues.
Hilarity ensues. It's very funny. It's like if you've seen like other mockumentaries, it's the same style. It's definitely like real world. Like they're trying to get along. Yes. They're all 4 different vampires. They all don't really get along, but
except 2 of them are married.
2 of them are married, but they still
don't always get along.
They have problems. So like,
and they're from the familiar. Guillermo is also there.
Yes. So the familiar in this respect, it's not like Witch's familiar where it's like an animal. The vampire's familiar is a human who is like their slave.
They promise to turn into a vampire.
Correct.
Eventually.
So that leads us to our cast. Guillermo's vampire, who he's familiar with, is Nandor the Relentless, who I think his character is a little bit based off of Jermaine's character from the movie. Yeah. Like it's a little similar. Then you have Laszlo Cravensworth, who is played by Matt Berry, who is probably the most well-known.
I would say of this group,
all yes. Of them. He's a British actor. He's very funny. He's been in The It Crowd. He's been in some episodes of The Mighty Boosh. If you're a fan of all those, it's got a similar feel because he has a very dry sense of humor. Then you have Nadja, who's Laszlo's wife. And she also has a human lover, Gregor, that she carries with her through many lifetimes. And then you have Adam's favorite, the energy vampire.
Colin Robinson.
Who you've seen him in stuff before.
Been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing I did read about also is almost all of his lines are ad-libbed.
Oh, really?
Like they were like, it's a shame that we have so much stuff of him doing these one-liners,
right? That
we can't even fit it all in. They're like, we need you to be boring and funny, and he'll just go off, and like he doesn't stop.
Basically, his like when he's on camera, he'll just random stories because he's sucking the energy out, so he's trying to make it as boring as possible.
Yes.
So it's pretty funny. So that's your cast. So those are your 4 vampires and the familiar. It's very easy to follow. Each episode is really its own episode, but it does have some storylines that carry through. So you might get confused if you don't watch from the beginning because you have like the Gregor story and then you have like
the Baron story.
So there's some, but you know, they all have their own little story each episode. Adam, what do you think about the show from the movie?
I don't think I can't really compare them because I love the characters and the actors so much that play in the original movie. But it's still great. It's very funny.
I'm glad they didn't like take the same characters
and just try to make them these people.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm glad they chose different characters for the film so that they have their own personalities.
The feel is all there, like the elements and the timing and the comedy is all there.
I mean, they do take some stories from the movie and adapt them into the TV shows, but it's not like you're watching the movie again.
It's not like when they tried to redo the IT Crowd in America. Right. And it was just a shot-for-shot remake, and it was horrible. It's not
a shot-for-shot remake of the movie set as a TV show.
Yeah.
Which I like. I like that they didn't do that. And a big thing is Jermaine Clement directs a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, he writes them, and then he directs a couple, and so does Watiti.
Watiti does
he directs 2 or 3 of the episodes. Yeah.
But I like that.
So they're still grounded in the original idea.
Yeah. The cast is fantastic.
I agree.
I love Nandor. I think he's great. When he tries to become a citizen of the United States is probably
because of the Dream Team, 92 Dream Team.
Right.
That's why, of course.
He is just great, and I feel so bad for Guillermo, his family. All he wants to do is be a vampire, and he can't be a vampire.
I'll say his performance is great because he has the most deadpan and not ridiculous at all, and he pulls it off. But he's very funny.
He's very funny. The fact they have him like living like it's not even a closet. It doesn't even have a door.
It's like where Harry Potter lived under the stairs, only worse.
Right. It was like we want him to be Harry Potter, but worse. Can you make that happen?
And he's obsessed. He's wanted to become a vampire since he saw an Hispanic vampire, Antonio Banderas. It's like, wow, if he can do it, then I can really be a vampire too.
It's so funny. The best part of this show is that it's a mockumentary, but it's like you're following vampires, which are very interesting. You're like, what's going to happen? And they live a very mundane life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best part of the movie and the TV show.
Yes.
Is like watching them having to go to like the city council and like sit there and like try to get something overturned, and then watching them be out in New York, like they
trying to mingle,
like they feel like they're like they're too old to be doing this, but they're doing it anyway, type situation. I think that's the best part of the show. Yeah,
that's where the comedy element comes in.
Right. Like you think, oh, vampires are so glamorous. They go out. It's like Twilight, right? It's like no. Like, they have to file permits.
They still have to clean house.
They cut their shrubbery. They take care of the house.
Erotic ways.
Do you have any favorite parts?
Favorite episode would lend itself to this. So the episode where they go to the nightclub to meet Nick Kroll's character, who plays their old friend.
He plays Simon.
That whole episode is just fantastic. The witch's hat that's cursed with the witch's skin. Mm-hmm. That whole part, and then I do like the idea of the council of vampires.
Right.
Was fantastic.
The council of vampires. The trial episode was the best. They kill the Baron by accident, and so they have to be in this trial.
Guillermo does.
Right, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
So they're on trial, and at the trial are like famous people
who have played vampires,
and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like Wesley Snipes is Skyping in to
because he's only half a vampire.
Yeah, right. And Jermaine and
the original three.
Watiti are there,
and the other one who I can't remember his name now, but
the other trio
play themselves, play the
correct
original characters, which is great. Danny Trejo's there.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens is there.
Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah. What did she play a vampire in? What am I missing on that one?
I don't know.
That's the only one I couldn't figure out. Everybody else
She was married to Marilyn Manson.
Well, maybe that's
maybe that counts.
Could be.
It's a really great episode. That one in particular is really great.
Also, the episode where they go out with the Baron before he dies.
Oh yeah,
it's just great. This
like old, he's got to be from like the 1700s, like hanging out and like partying in New York. It's just all very funny.
He looks like the grandfather in Hotel Transylvania version of a.
It would definitely be
like that would be him.
Yeah.
But he still wants to go out and party.
Yeah. He's just like drinking people's blood on the street, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I think my favorite is Guillermo, and I think I love when he tries to get the virgins from the LARPing group. Mm-hmm. I think that is hilarious, because I think I might actually like that better than the movies version of like trying to get virgins.
Yes,
I think it's very funny that he
There's
joins the LARPing group.
Yeah, just to get that.
I think that's good. And then I also really like that you find out Guillermo's descendant of Van Helsing.
Yeah, that's a pretty good twist.
I think the next season is going to be great.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of room for it to go, which I'm glad. Like they didn't. The movie delved more into the werewolf side and the feud they had with the werewolves. The TV show kind of did that one episode.
I will say the werewolf in the movie is much better than.
Oh yeah, the main actor.
They did in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seemed a little forced almost because it was like all of a sudden, boom,
we're just going to put it in there because it's from the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Still wasn't bad though.
No, I mean, it's funny.
But that could be explored much more in the next season, I think. Mm-hmm. And it probably will be.
Right. So I'm really excited that he's a Van Helsing. He wants to be a vampire. So
and now he's conflicted.
He's conflicted now. He doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's already killed 2 vampires.
No, by accident on both times. He's like, he just wants to be a vampire so bad. Poor Guillermo.
I think I do think that's something they do more in this one than they did in the film, is really delve into the whole familiar thing. Like everywhere they go, there's a really crappy spot where the familiars go.
It's so funny when they go to the nightclub and he has to go to like this basement with the other familiars and there's like
a bucket to go to the bathroom. One of them's a cat. I just think the number of just random jokes and deadpan delivery of them. When he turns the baby into a vampire and just leave it in Brooklyn. And how horrible that would be. So
Laszlo was going to be on, like, he's the one that turned the baby, and they have other vampires arrested for that. And when they go to the trial, they meet those vampires, and Laszlo's like,
Dave Bautista.
Dave Bautista.
Drax is the vampire, and he's been blamed for this horrible act of turning the baby into a vampire.
You just don't do that.
Because they'll never age. That is horrible.
It is.
He thought it would be funny though.
I love Matt Berry. I love Matt Berry as a vampire, but I like his relationship with the girl that plays Nadja.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really funny, and I love the orgy episode where all he wants to do is like show off his porn.
Yeah, that he was been in thousands of porn movies, and they're so boring and horrible.
They're so bad, and like she doesn't want him there because he'll ruin the orgy, and then like he does ruin the orgy, but he ruins it by telling her that he loves her.
And then he wants to be with just her.
Yeah, like that's what ruins it.
That is a killer.
That's what ruins an orgy. I think the best scene out of that is that the virgin that they have has sex as like one of the like orgy like participants. Because Guillermo can't suck his blood because he's not a virgin anymore.
Guillermo's conflicted because he's his friend, but he had to bring him there.
Right.
Yeah, that was a pretty good twist on that as well.
All of the episodes have really great, just little moments in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantastic. It's just all around great. If you like Flight of the Conchords and you haven't seen this, you should definitely watch it.
Yes,
it has the humor, very same vein as Flight of the Conchords. I mean, if you like Jermaine Clement, he's great.
Yeah,
his humor is hilarious.
My favorite joke is one that may be missed. It's whenever he's they're with the Count, and he's like, "What do you know? Something I've always wanted to do." Mm-hmm. And then Laszlo's like, "Corpophilia," and then he keeps anyway. And then he turns to him and is like, "Corpophilia," and I don't know if you know what that means. And if you know what that means, it's somebody who is turned on by fecal matter and defecation.
Right.
And it's just so random and just. They hit it and they move on.
No.
And it's, oh man, it's just great.
Another one is when he's trimming the bushes and he's trimming he says, "This is my bush garden." And he's trimming the bushes as vaginas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's taking you through each vagina and he like gets to the last one. He's like, "This is my favorite. It's my mother's."
It's my mother. Yeah.
Like there's like little moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really good show.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm sorry we can't complain about it.
Yeah, I can't think of anything to complain about. Besides the werewolves in it. It was a little let down to have that part. Maybe. Right. That was kind of a eh.
But, yeah. I mean, the fight on top of the building was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, the weapon of choice. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, like the episode.
What would you think bingeability wise? What would you give it?
I'd give it a 4.5.
That's what I'm going with as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I liked it a lot. I don't know, maybe because it was on Hulu and there was like ads. I was just like, if it was on Netflix, I feel like I would have gave it a 5.
Okay.
For straight.
You would have hammered through them.
Right. But I'm going to give it 4.5. I like there's some parts in it that are a little slow, like in the beginning, but overall it was like.
But that's kind of that's kind of that's what makes it even funnier. Right. When it is so much slower.
Right.
The slow burn. But yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4.5. I can't give it. Yeah, nothing to complain about. Just not like the peak of the peak.
Right.
But it's very high up there.
It's very good. Can't wait to see what they do for season 2. I think it's going to be great.
Okay. So I have a Stump Amanda question.
Ooh.
These 4 vampires. And not the most scary, intimidating vampires that you've seen in shows. I'm just trying to think if you can think of. Can you name 2 or 3 vampires that you think are even less intimidating than anybody in the What We Do in the Shadows universe?
From like TV and
anywhere,
movie and wherever. Definitely all the vampires from Twilight.
Oh, okay. That's a strong statement.
Like none of them are very like intimidating.
They're just brooding.
And they sparkle. And they have all blonde hair, which I think is weird. Mm-hmm. One for like vampires that have blonde hair. I'm not discriminating or anything. Like
sure.
I'm just thinking like it's not intimidating.
There were no Nordic vampires, is what you're saying.
I don't think in my history of vampire history I see Nordic vampires.
The Swedes, yeah. Okay.
Like, they're definitely not intimidating. I
Okay.
mean, when they go to like,
I've never seen the movie series at all, so
I've only seen like a couple movies, but when they go to like the Council of Vampires, like, yeah, some of them are intimidating. None of the vampires are really intimidating.
Okay.
They're just like, romantic drama vampires.
okay, gotcha. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any others?
Maybe the Transylvania vampires
Oh,
from
from
Hotel
Hotel
Transylvania.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Adam Sandler's character.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then that brings me to Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Oh, there you go. Leslie Nielsen.
Nielsen as a vampire.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's
that's
not
not very
very
intimidating.
intimidating, no.
Okay.
He's kind of creepy, but
Yeah.
not very intimidating.
He's so funny. Okay, those are pretty good. Mine, I think, are all cartoon characters.
Are they?
So you got to go with the Count from Sesame Street.
Oh, right. No.
Definitely not scary.
Definitely not scary. Yeah.
At all.
Just
He
wants
may
to count.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
There are two of us. Count Chocula
Oh.
from the cereal. Again, he just wants some chocolate.
He doesn't even want blood.
That's all he wants. And lastly, if you've ever read this series,
Uh-huh.
Bunnicula, the bunny vampire who sucks the juice out of vegetables.
Never heard it.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Come on, you grew up in the 90s. You've never heard of that?
No.
Well, there's a series. It's a rabbit, a pet rabbit, who's like a vampire, but he sucks the juice out of carrots and all
Okay.
kinds of vegetables.
Interesting.
Riveting. I'm telling you, riveting.
Maybe it's one of their pet. Like if they had a...
Yeah. It's like a vegetarian vampire.
It's like if Nandor had a pet and then he accidentally turned it into a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a bunny. What did you say? Bunnicula?
Bunnicula, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Can't believe you've never heard of that.
Never.
Okay, maybe I'm an anomaly, and then I'm the only one who's heard of it.
You have
But-
kids also, so...
Yeah, but they've never read it.
Oh.
No, they're past that. They're into Harry Potter. They'd be like, Bunnicula? What?
Screw that. The bunny's dumb.
Yeah. I don't remember who wrote it, but I remember reading it. And I thought it was cool.
Ooh, Adam.
Yeah. Slightly spooky, but not really. So yeah, both of our answers are even less scary than the
Than what we do in the shadows. Yeah.
Although they do kill people, so
They do. But
out of nowhere.
I wouldn't be like afraid to die in their
I think
company.
I think Nandor is definitely the least scary of all of them.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think did he even kill anybody in the show. I'm trying to think.
No, I don't think so. Laszlo, Nadja.
Yeah, they did a few.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think
No.
Nandor. Yeah, so he's not scary at all.
He's not scary.
He's a sweetheart. He likes crafting. He made a nice glitter poster for Guillermo.
Yeah.
The two of them. He's just a nice vampire.
He's just, living it up on Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing good stuff. That leads us into our last segment, Snack Attack. What were you eating while binging What We Do in the Shadows Season 1?
Blood. No?
No?
No.
Were
no,
you?
No.
Did you?
I did not. I had tacos.
Similar?
Kind of.
Tacos is good.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with tacos.
Okay. Tacos is good. I have some other stuff you may want to snack on if you're going to throw a vampire party for What We Do in the Shadows.
All right.
So, number one is a snack that is vampire themed, but also may not go, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Garlic bread.
Ooh. That's,
It'll keep them away.
yeah.
It's tasty, but also not for vampires.
It will cause extreme projectile vomiting if they take a bite of this.
Correct.
Like you'll fly across the room.
Right.
If you're a vampire and you take a bite. So it'll totally be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
Just telling you.
But
Watch out.
yeah. Number two, you already said it. Count Chocula.
Of course.
You put it out, snackable. You can also
Mhm.
have it with milk, whatever. Get that chocolate.
A little sweet fix
Mm-hmm.
without getting too decadent
Nope,
because it's not real chocolate.
it's not real chocolate. Number three, red velvet cupcakes.
Oh.
It's got the red, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly like them, but you go at it, man.
Okay.
Pretend like you're munching down on someone's neck.
So sweet.
Number four is a drink, Bloody Marys.
Oh, of course. But make them with actual blood.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
Make sure you have tomato juice.
Forget I said anything.
Do not make it with
Did
real
not
blood.
do that.
That would be gross. That means you would actually be a vampire. Don't do that. And last but not least, not for any vegetarians out there, but rare steak bites.
Oh, there you go.
Literally just cut up some raw steak, sear it for a second.
Steak tartare.
You can do steak
Nice
tartare.
steak tartare, yeah.
Whatever
I was
your
thinking
raw
of-
preference is.
I thought you were going to say like blood pudding
Oh.
or blood
You
sausage.
could do that. Any of those meats would work with
Yeah.
the meat platter.
Or hot dogs. Pretty much the same thing.
No, don't do hot dogs.
Well, that's for zombies. It's a alternative to brains. Just
Right.
hot dogs and spam. You can survive as a zombie if you just eat hot dogs and spam.
You'll
You
be
never have
fine.
to kill anybody. Then you're fine.
Just, you know what? Go kill a cow and present it into your party.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll be totally vampire.
Did they go into this? I know we're ending, but can a vampire survive off of like animal blood? Or does it have to be human blood?
I think in all of the stuff that I've seen from like fiction, that it's possible.
You can survive, you just won't be as strong, right? Like human blood
Right. Like,
is like the
okay, the best example of this would be Brad Pitt's character in
interview
with the Vampire,
Yeah.
because he would just eat animals. So he was surviving. So
This makes
Yes.
you pale and hot.
you'll look like Brad Pitt just eating some squirrels.
So there you go. Well, I think I learned a lesson. All right.
Hey, Adam,
Yes.
what are we watching next week for our last movie to TV show?
Well, we're going to
Show.
watch Snatch,
Snatch,
the series.
the series, not Brad Pitt.
No.
Oh, okay. We were
No,
talking
but
about
Rupert,
Brad Pitt. So I was
Rupert
like,
Grint, right?
oh, Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
Ron Weasley.
The Wheeze.
And as Brad Pitt,
I don't know.
he plays a character.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I might have to rewatch the movie before we watch the show,
Yes.
because it's been a while.
I watched it when
A
it came
while.
out, so
Yeah.
I may not watch it. Maybe I'll watch it afterwards and see how that goes.
Okay.
Watch
Watch
the
a show
series,
and
then
then
watch
watch the
the
movie.
I want to taint my judgment.
Okay. I'm interested to see Rupert Grint as, not Ron Weasley character.
He's always Ron Weasley. No matter what you see, you're gonna be like, okay, Ron.
like a hard up gangster Ron
Yeah,
Weasley. Is that what's gonna happen? You think Brad Pitt will show up at one point?
One can hope.
Fingers crossed. Maybe he'll dress as a vampire.
Yeah. Full circle, baby. Full circle.
Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to leave us a comment about how all my snacks are disgusting and you're vegetarian, then you can eat tomatoes. I don't know what's a bloody
Beats.
beets.
Yeah.
Okay. Beet tartare is definitely for you.
Mm-hmm. Or leave us a comment if you know what Bunnicula, the Vampire Bunny book series, is.
If it's your favorite series, please let us know.
Yes, let us know.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you bingers next week.
Bye. Ah, ah, ah.